Welcome to a special edition of the Monster Cat podcast. For today's episode, we've put together some of the spookiest tracks we've released in the past. So follow us if you dare. Welcome to the Zombie Disco. listening to a Halloween edition of the Monster Cat Podcast.
Welcome, one and all. I'm Hail Monkey Man, and this is Frontline Gaming. We are in the middle of Season 2, Week 3 for the Champ League, and of course, I'm joined by none other than Rainstorms. How you doing today, Rainstorms?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and of course, it's a college football weekend every single weekend, and I am sporting my favorite OU hat. So yeah, we're going big. We're going live. We got the double face cams, and so it's actually official. It's high production, people. This is what we do every single day, and I'm excited about today. And I'm excited because we have such high octane competition. And I know I make that stupid pun every single time we do this, but I love it every single time we do it too. So, oh man, I know you guys could be watching some fantastic football, and I know that I could be panicking as I watch my Sooners continue to disappoint me. But you know what? I'm just gonna ignore that. I'm gonna put that on the back burner, and we're just gonna pretend that everything is a nice and happy day because we have some fantastic matchups to bring you today. First on the docket is, of course, none other than the Mob versus the Avalanche. Two contenders. The Mob still looking a little bit squeamish as they go into league play right now. And the Avalanche is looking pretty strong, still undefeated. They've been very, very, well equipped with Andy at the helm. And just he's been leading the charge every step of the way. Nifty will be able to come in and play with us this week, and Henry will be following up, and the Mob bringing up Prez J, Sergeant AO, and Cran. So what's your take going into this matchup?
You know, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Mob is going to take the win in this game, primarily just because I've seen a lot of good play from Press J, Sergeant AO, and Cran as of late, and I think in this week 3, this is kind of where you see teams kind of finding themselves. Their chemistries are finally locking into place, and we can kind of understand where a team's going to head. And I think Mob has the right kind of talent to kind of right the ship and overcome their rocky start. So I think they'll take care of the Avalanche.
I mean, they have a lot of potential to do just that. I've been waiting to see really the chemistry kind of be put forward between Cran, Sergeant AO. Really, honestly, Mars has a lot of good components at his disposal, and I think they can do well. Between these two, do you think Mob is going to be the sure thing between these, or just is it a lot of hope? Is that your choice for it?
I wouldn't say it's a sure thing. Avalanche is still a dangerous team. They are undefeated, and so I think if Mob is going to win, they're going to have to be very consistent in their team play. However, I do believe they have it in them with the pieces on the board that they have going into this game, and so I really do believe that they'll take the win today.
Oh man, all right. Well, I'm going to have to be on the other side of the fence with you. I've just seen so much firepower out of Andy, and I think Nifty coming in with it, and Henry, as long as Henry doesn't disconnect, that's been his biggest issue. So if he continues to stay to strive and to be skillful as he is, I think that the Avalanche right now will be an unstoppable force today. And so we're going to see how these two play up and how they play off, and we're going to get down to the field. We're going into the snowy fields of Manfield. Let's go ahead and get down to it. Make sure that I have everything good. I've already given some points over to these guys, so let's take those away. Boop, boop. There we go. All right. It looks like we're going to have them join the field. It's going to be the Mob versus the Avalanche. Let's get them. Make sure to take off your video, just in case. Andy going to take it from the high corner. It will be Cran trying to receive it from the low end. Both Henry and Nifty. They will be playing into the midfield, supporting Andy's attempts here at really pressing up on the offense. Andy has been just the major contender, the major offensive just punctuation for the Avalanche, and they're getting scrappy in the backside of their defense. Henry kicking it up to the high backboard. They're going to go for a little bit of a clear here. Prez J able to grab it just in time. Prez J having a lot of good coming out of his time in the CRL. And so trying to use a little bit of his experience there to really put it to him. The miss save, and Sergeant AO will start off scoring for the Mob.
And like I said, this is a really good play from the Mob. They've got that going on with the pass, and it really should have been taken care of by the Avalanche, but they had a little bit of a whiff in the defensive end for the first score of the game. Very
surprising. Oh, why is that on? Oh my goodness. I turned on like 2 different mics. That was weird. Henry will take the clear here. A very uncharacteristic miss out of the Avalanche, who has been so consistent. And Cran with an extra save to be able to get the clear. Andy may be getting a little bit surprised, but I feel like the Avalanche has been spoiled. They've been almost non-stop home game after home game, and I think they're getting used to playing in these easy blue fields of frozen tundra, and Sergeant AO will get a second score.
Yeah, and really quickly working his way up to a hat trick. Sergeant AO with the long boom from long range just gets over Nifty, who's unfortunately caught in no man's land.
What is currently going on here? Avalanche, the mountain seems to be crumbling. This is uncharacteristic entirely. We've seen them have maybe a few troubles here and there, but maybe the addition of Nifty and Henry is just not serving as good defense for Andy. Sergeant AO from the ceiling. He bumped Andy, finding himself uncomfortable. Maybe they've been learning a bit from seeing these other teams just go for the bump demo game. They're going for another one, and Prez J, they're up 3-0 just over a minute and a half in.
This is just an all-out onslaught from the Mob. Cran coming in off that ceiling touch, puts it right in the corner where nobody but Prez J can touch it.
The hashtag mob mentality crowd has to be feeling good about themselves right now, and for this team, as they are putting on a show and making Avalanche just look bewildered. And if you're going to try from the high corner, Sergeant Ayo going to get the long clear here. It's going to be double-crossed. Andy and Henry going for the same ball, and assignments seem to be plaguing the Avalanche. Andy's going to feed up to the high wall again, and Henry's going to have to turn around on it. Nifty trying to go for a clear. Prez J will go to the back line. Sergeant Ayo trying to go back to Cran. Cran will miss as Andy will be the first to get a touch on it. Nifty going to try and get it with the length of the Batmobile. They will 50 off across the pitch. And Henry continuing to whiff here. And this one, oh, a near second touch. Definitely dangerous, but they still have to hit pay dirt.
Very close from Henry there.
Be inside the paint. Seeing a little bit of the snow melting quickly as the Mob is starting to put some heat on the Avalanche, and they cannot respond in due time. Avalanche will demo a demo return in kind from Sergeant Ayo. Will tell Nifty not to come around here anymore. Prez J is going to go for a center here. We'll slow it down. He was going to hand it off to Cran. Cran ended up letting it go. And Sergeant Ayo now a little bit too far up, but Cran. No, it'll be Prez J with a good clear. Prez J pressing up the field. Andy will try to get one off the backboard as the Mob continue to threaten. A little under 2 minutes remaining in this game, number 1 between the Mob and the Avalanche. High octane so far. Rainstorms are being asked if you can speak Spanish. Is that possible? Do you know Espanol?
Well, I can, but it's going to be absolute gibberish.
Is it Chipotle burrito taco?
I am eating a Chipotle bowl as we speak currently, so...
Ooh, I thought those come in later. I didn't know they got there already.
Nope.
Oh, man.
It was quick.
All right.
You all watching at home didn't notice, but on that first opening kickoff, I was opening the door in my suit and shorts.
That had to be great. Was the...
They looked bewildered.
That's fantastic. I love that. Just tell them you're in the middle of a very important business meeting. Right now, so there's some important business that Avalanche is missing out on, and it's called offense. And they're going to need to find some soon, as less than a minute remains in this first game. And right now, the Mob are just taking it to them. Andy rolling it downfield. This is becoming reminiscent of a play that we saw in week number 1. Henry going to try and finish it off. Going to the high corner. Just need to get a touch, and he was there a little bit too late. Prez J going to do the same thing. He's going to dribble. A lot of ball control here. Continue to drain possession from the Avalanche as they continue to try and get an attack. It's just not going to turn out to be. Oh, pass Nifty. Cran. He ends up going for a center, but Henry will be to the backboard and will stop at least another goal from happening. 15 seconds remain. Still down 3. Avalanche. They're going to be looking into game 2, but Andy will still make a run of it here in game 1.
Dobla izquierda, apresando, Andy. Go.
That's lovely. Okay, that was worth it. That was so worth it. As the final second ticks away, the Avalanche is going to have to figure something out going to game 2 as Mob will be the winners of game number 1.
Yeah, that was a really great showing from Mob, especially from Ayo with those. They were kind of, admittedly, they were kind of gimme goals. Nothing too flashy, nothing he had to work too hard for. But they were consistent in their defense, and their passing game was really great with 2 assists from Cran.
Are you surprised with how inconsistent Avalanche was on defense? They seem to just they buckled down going into the second half of that game, but really and truly they opened themselves up for that whooping, and that just didn't seem like the normal Avalanche we've seen over the past 2 weeks.
You know, it doesn't, and I think that might just be it's the first game of the day, of this week 3, and so it might be a little bit kind of a slow start for them. They might need a little bit of a warm-up. Maybe some people didn't get a chance to get in those pregame tune-ups beforehand, and so I'm looking to see a little bit more of a challenge from Avalanche. So Mob is going to have to, step on the proverbial gas pedal and keep it that way.
Very true. We're going to go ahead and get them in for game number 2. Let's see. They were able to find a little bit of momentum, a little bit of goodness as the time went on. They got a little bit more comfortable. It's just going to be a matter of can they continue that. And the Mob, I mean, when you get enough goals up, you start being a little bit more complacent, taking off a little bit of pressure. And they're going to need to go all cylinders firing yet again, because if they want to pull off what I consider to be a pretty big upset here against the Avalanche, it's going to have to be full force every single game.
And Sergeant Ayo is coming from a hockey playing background, and he knows just as well as anybody that when you're up big, you don't turtle. You don't go into that turtle kind of conservative defense. You keep on that offensive pressure, because if you keep that up, the other team isn't going to get many opportunities to score on your own goal.
Very true. Prez J's going to go for the big strike here. We'll end up going wide. He's going to try and bleed out to the corner. 2 members of the Mob going to the corner, and this will actually just be a feed over to the center of the defense from the Avalanche. Prez J's chasing up on another striking opportunity, but Nifty shutting it down in a hurry. Andy moving past Sardaneo, leaving one on an island, but Cran 50ing it with Andy to the far side. Andy will not give up on this attempt. He will be striking it from the ground, or sealing to ground, rather. Thus far, a nice clear. He's giving the Mob a little bit of space to work with. A couple of their members short on boost, and they'll be just trying to get some good 50s, good challenges. So we're working into the midfield half for the Avalanche. Cran, another touch here. It's going on the backboard. Will there be a following up strike? Sardaneo with the miss. Prez J will get just enough to at least slow it down. And now with the counterattack, Avalanche will take possession. Moving back over into the Mob half, just teasing it in front of that front paint. And
He's
Ayo
really doing everything he possibly can to keep that in the goal, right in front of the net for his teammates, but no teammates are there to scoop up that goal. But as I say that, a little bit of a mistouch from Sergeant Ayo on the wall leaves it perfectly centered for Nifty. Excuse me, that was not a mistouch from Sergeant Ayo. That was just a great pass from Andy.
Andy definitely, he's trying to open up every passing lane and shooting lane possible for the Avalanche. They seem tentative, and I'm seeing a little bit less on the play experience between Nifty and Andy. Because we haven't seen Nifty play yet this season, and seeing him on the field alongside them, he's a little bit lost, and they're now just trying to get comfortable with one another. And as they start to get comfortable, they're going to start to become more lethal. A little bit of double commit there, but Henry actually is able to take it. Cran with the corner, clear. It will go back to Nifty. A nice save by Prez J. Cran pressing the attack now. He's going to be working against Andy. Andy with an immediate touch decides to drive away from boost and goes to ball instead. Good priorities set in order. High arcing clear. Andy will move it down the field. It'll be moved over Cran. Andy again with the attack. One of the things I've definitely seen out of Andy is not the kind of guy, or at least not in my experience, that I've seen too many times be scrappy and try to go for the extra bumps on people. He is definitely all about ball control, and he will just straight ball you with his amount of touches on it, and a nice save there by Prez J.
Yeah, and he get past Sergeant Ayo pretty easily, but can't get it past the second defender in Prez J, who's there waiting for the goal.
Ooh, Prez J looking for a very fast pass, and went a little bit too wide. He was hoping that Cran was going to come out for the strike. Henry's up for this and working in the same lane as Andy. Andy and Cran 50 against one another, and Sergeant Ayo looking to, I guess, tease the offense away from it, as they thought that he would get more possession. Continue to try and control the midfield. Henry is bumping around Prez J. Cran will move it back to center as Nifty will finally lift for it, but then get immediately shunted away. Double commit on defense. Cran's going to work against Andy. Prez J stays behind from the post. Not quite reaching up to the paint. Sergeant Ayo going to the corner. Sergeant Ayo trying to bring it back center. Nifty with the miss, and oh! Prez J just a little bit late.
Yeah, great little pass from Sergeant Ayo to send it low along the net, sweeping Nifty in for defense, misses it, and Prez J, I'm not sure if he was anticipating the hit from Nifty, but he misses it as well.
definitely looked like he was going to go for some kind of quick counter. Oh, a nice feed over here, but he's not able to flip out of it. He's already used his double flip and thus stopped that attack from his own teammate. Less than a minute now. Prez J going for the clear again. Mob, very few chances remaining, only down one. They still have to get one past a much, much better defense in the Avalanche. Prez J working it over Nifty, getting it feeded back over to Andy instead. Cran's gonna have to go for a clear here. We'll get one out to the middle. Prez J will get the whiff, and he will not continue that play. They're looking at maybe 1 to 2 more possessions left on their side, and they're gonna be very tough ones. Sergeant Ao has to get here in a hurry, will not get it before Andy. Andy with a second touch, will he get a third? Yes, he will, but it will be 50 back to the middle. Sergeant Ao gonna try and play hero, slowing it down, and no one to put it away except Prez J.
With 17 seconds left, finally we see a goal from the Mob to tie this up. Sergeant Ao's going up high, kind of shadowing Henry there, trying to get it down. He doesn't touch it, and I think that confuses the final 2 Avalanche defenders, as Prez J is there to slam it in for the tie.
Well, that was definitely rough, and they pushed every bit they could. The Mob is looking to, they got the tie. They would love to finish this in regulation to keep that momentum going, but the Avalanche are looking for the same. No touch here until Ao crosses the paint, and Andy's still gonna press the issue. It is an air ball. Nifty will strike it to the ground, and we will go to overtime in game 2. Nifty clearing it out to the corner. Cran will take possession, actually missing the boost. Don't know if he was low or not. A strike here. Oh, trying to confuse the defense. Nifty just jumping in front of all 3 of them. They sat at ground in net. Andy playing ball control, dribbling past 1, not past 2, as Ao will at least get the clear. Double commit, a strike going. Who's on defense? Nifty. Nifty able to save it just from under the crossbar. Andy again going for that long air dribble. He has a double touch so far and a triple. Now past Prez J. A lot of these solo plays from Andy have been the openings for the offense, for the Avalanche. But then you see a lot of times there's a huge delay in when the second man will finally come up. An air drag, Andy past 2! And Ao, not phased, stays squared up and got the clear for the time being. Nifty getting 50 by Prez J. Andy once again being the leader of this team so far. Sergeant Ao, he knows that Andy can't do it all himself. It's going to go middle. That one fast, but Nifty ready for it. Tired defense of the Mob.
That was a nifty 50.
It was definitely a nifty 50. It's a 50-50 shot of being able to grab that one. He's going up for another one. We've seen Nifty do these before. Nifty aerials, nifty shots. And he's going to go from ground to air. He will air drag it again. Continue to try and press it, but Prez J having nothing of it. Ao and Henry challenging at one another. A light tap past Nifty. Prez J very wisely going back to his own backboard. Ao. Andy just kind of teasing that back line over there for the Mob, as they know that he's the main initiator for the offense. Oh, a shot here, but no. Nifty will take possession of it. Ao gonna work against 2. Henry and Nifty now double committed out of the net. Andy with a good clear, past 2. It's an open net situation. Can he get it? It's crossbar, and Ao with the clear. And we are now past 2 minutes in overtime. Going for a light dunk. Nifty with the shot again past the backboard.
A lot of opportunities from Avalanche to bury that golden goal, but unfortunately they can't finish it as it goes high and wide quite often.
Nifty gonna press the issue from the midfield. This is gonna turn into a series for the ages so far. Both these teams, Mob trying to prove Avalanche has a weakness to exploit. Right now in this composition, Andy's the main man with the plan, and Henry and Nifty are being worked in overtime to try and help him out. Andy again, ground to air. He's going to try and dribble it, realizes losing possession, works it into the corner. A strike going mid, but double commit on offense. Henry and Nifty not on the same page. Cran's going to work against 2. He jumps over 1. Oh, and Andy with a save.
Yeah, Yeah, lots of back and forth in this overtime. We're 3 minutes in, and it's been a constant onslaught of opportunities.
Andy trying to play on the mind games right there. That may be one of the few things that they have left in their arsenal. Trying to just play the mind, and Andy says, you know what, screw it, I will take the shot myself.
And Andy, probably one of the most important players in this second game. Most of the opportunities for the Avalanche was coming off of Andy's dribbling, and there he finally finishes it with a golden goal.
That one was back and forth the whole way. Avalanche riding those shoulders of Andy as they take game number 2. Look at this shot, 13 shots to 6. Avalanche just peppering the back end of that goal. Henry not able to do too much, and it was clearly Andy and Nifty the whole way up there. My goodness. Mob, they did very well. I mean, look, the saves to the shots, they were holding them back. And in the end, Andy just pressed the issue enough.
Yeah, what we saw from the Mob and Avalanche was a little bit of a sloppier game from both teams in comparison to their first game. Mob had a lot of issues with whiffs and missed opportunities where they really had a good shot at the goal, but just couldn't touch the ball the way they wanted to. And Avalanche, you see a lot of miscommunication in their play. There were a lot of double commits, and then Andy would have great plays just dismantling the defense with his ball dribbling skills, but wouldn't have a second teammate to follow up and take those opportunities with him. And so a lot of his great offensive coast-to-coasts would be left stalling.
He definitely needs someone to help him out, help him finish these games. We're going to immediately get into game number 3 as that overtime. Oh, they're spicing it up over here, trying to melt some of the snow and ice and really get us jazzed for it. But Andy, he's a powerhouse. Honestly and truly, he is an intense player. And if he had anyone on any of those possessions following up, I think we could have seen 5 or 6 goals. But the Mob, they're either intimidating, they're threatening them with cinder block shoes, or just Henry and Nifty trying to find who's going to be the follow-up man truly to help put it away. Oh, quick strike here. Nifty just maybe trying to be the forward man. Maybe they're going to switch it up, have a different initiator. Andy could take a break, be the back linesman. They could play maybe a 1-2 instead of a 2-1. It's kind of been like the Metanoris Magnus a lot show so far. And Andy, of course, who else but Andy to start off the scores.
Yeah, opening up the scoring here really soon with Andy. 20 seconds in, gets a nice little pass from the ceiling from his teammate and does a great little misdirect from that. I don't think the defense was anticipating that angle at all.
I mean, personally, if I saw him fly in that direction, I thought it would go to the far wall. And then definitely Henry from the ceiling and Andy there, clearing the defense, but it's a shot high. And Sergeant Ao is late and cannot get a second touch on it. Andy's going to try and drop it over to Henry. It will go backboard. No double touch here. Henry from the low ground. Henry been very quiet over the past 2 games. Probably looking to make a third one his. Sergeant Ao serving it up, and he cannot get back in time. Andy, of course, with goal number 2.
Andy 2/3 of the way to a hat trick. Nifty does a great little pass. It looks like it's going to go in, but it goes high off the crossbar, and both defenders are out of position trying to make that initial save. Andy comes in with the far side shot.
Just when you think you have a little bit of space to work with, Ao hoping that the Mob could have gotten some breathing room from a push to the corner, and Andy denying it completely, putting it right back in the field of play and getting a nice score. Now the Mob looking a little bit slow. And looking like chumps is a nice passing play by Sergeant Ao with a good save off of that really fast strike.
Yeah, great play from Avalanche there. Sergeant Ao's in a perfect position to cut that off. Ooh! And a little bit of flashy passing from their own as Sergeant Ao sends it to Press J in the cross crease. Can't send it in.
Oh, but a nice open shot here from the post. Press J.
Mr. President, get down with your bad self. Great little redirect from the corner rollout, sending it right in short side top crease.
That was a lot of power in a short amount of time, and from that low angle, really able to just, he cut this lead in half for the Avalanche. Avalanche, even with the scoring they've been able to do, they cannot sit idly by and think that the Mob will not come in and continue to press this offense in their face. Andy with the uncharacteristic whiff. This will be bowled in, and Nifty can be trusted to at least get one from the net. Prez J working for the low corner. He will grab some boost on the way. Sarneo and Cran left in net, both having to work against this ball for a clear. Prez J still trying to get it up to the midfield. Cran left on the ground. He's backwards, and Andy will gain a hat trick.
Yeah, Andy the Hattie. So Andy coming in. Prez J gets a nifty 50 for him, and Andy with a little bit of flipping of his own. Cran's kind of sideways, and unfortunately for him, all he can do is backflip and hope he gets a wheel on it.
Yeah, Cran was facing the opposite post. He was definitely backwards, and there's just nothing he could do to recover. He would have had to, I don't know, power slide like 1 second before he even knew he needed to, and you just can't predict the future on these guys. Nifty pushing it downfield. Andy, this Avalanche team now setting up the passing plays, feeling much more confident, much more comfortable, trying to reestablish that dominance that they've had over the past 2 weeks. They've seemed a little bit caught off guard and also just completely out of sorts. This one coming down fast. No one there to really threaten or punish just yet. Henry with the upward hit. Nifty would be taking it from the back wall. Prez J putting it out middle, and Henry will probably have an easy clear here. Sarneo, it will go to the sky. Andy immediately going for it. Oh, and he teases two away. Oh, that one to the back line remaining. It's going to go wide, but Andy just tricking everyone out of their shoes. Well, this one, Prez J trying to get the extra flips, maybe gain some momentum, but he ran out of boost and not able to angle himself just the right way. Avalanche looking pretty, still up 2 with less than 2 now in game number 3. One of these teams looking to take the advantage going into game 4 and looking for that possible match point. Sarneo, last man on, but Cran will end up taking it from the midfield. Cran forcing Henry to make a play on it. He will. And Andy, always one to make a play on the ball. Presley's going to try and bowl it, take the low ground. Nifty ends up going to have to serve it all the way downfield. Cran instead from the corner. Got a feel for Mob. They're doing really well in their corner game, but oh my goodness, how are you going to stand against that just titanic force of Andy? He is going to be in your face every step of the way. Sarneo past Henry. Andy on his lonesome, on an island, but he's not at all panicked. A shot here, Nifty cutting off Cran for what would have been a sure thing. And again, from ground to air, and finally looking like he's getting scrappy, going for the bump, trying to just tease him. This one, on top of the crossbar. Prez J by himself. He will continue to dribble. Andy shadowing after it. It will go high, come down low in a hurry. Ayo was going for the strike. Right now, a little over 30 seconds. The Mob looking much slower, unpaced. Oh, trying to serve it to Cran. Cran going for the shot. It will be an open net, but they can't get it in. Oh no, the angles just weren't there. Cran over to Prez J again. Prez J with the whiff, starting AO, gonna bring it back to the corner, hoping to give it to a teammate. Right now, the Mob looking like they're trying to make the miracle happen. And it's just not going to. This one going wide of the net, threatening it for all of a moment. The Avalanche will have reestablished themselves as the force that they are, rolling down the mountain. And they will go up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, it's hard to anticipate such a performance from one player like Andy with that hat trick. And what you don't want to do, oftentimes whenever you're seeing a player like this who's just playing out of their mind, it's an easy assumption that you fix that by pressuring that particular player a little bit more, going for those bumps, going for those checks, just making sure that you can get in his mind. But if you do that, you run the risk of having Nifty and Henry come in for a lot more cleaner shots and a lot more opportunities because they don't have that defensive pressure on them.
Yeah, it's looking like that. I mean, you think you'd be able to definitely focus on one way or the other, and even when you do, Andy's going to make you look like a fool, as we saw time and time again. We're going to be go ahead and getting into this 4th game, and the Mob, they're there. They can't get past that backline defense. Henry finally woke up, especially for the Avalanche, to really give him that third man to rely on. Nifty doing a lot more in the assistance role with Andy. And I mean, I think they're content to just kind of funnel him shots. He's been trying to funnel them shots the whole first game and second game, and then realizes, no, I'm the guy that's going to be the striker. I am going to score.
Gotta be a little selfish when you can back it up a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think Mob really, if they want to come out and win this one, not get set home packing now. Oh, and Andy, just like last game, 20 seconds that time, 21 seconds this time. Great pass from Henry, lifting it right over the commander-in-chief himself.
Ooh.
And just threads the needle perfectly from Andy.
Prez J, he hung on to that front post like there was a flood going on. He didn't want to be swept away, but in doing so, when everyone else is rotating back, he had the entire open net behind him and could not respond to a fast pitch like that from Henry to Andy. Poor positioning, and they're going to be regretting that. Right now, the Mob looking to somehow take this fourth game and force a game 5. Andy working over Sergeant Ao, a missed strike here. Now it's going to be Nifty on an island. Just have to dribble it over one, and he will move past the back line, and they will tie it up 1-1.
There is our commander-in-chief of Rocket League, dubbed so by our very own Ryan Span. Great little flip, getting it past Nifty. No other defenders back for Avalanche, so he's just going to walk this one in.
El Presidente, he will give you the State of the Union address. The state of your union is that you done messed up. That's what it is. Nice touch here. And we'll move over to Sergeant Ao. Another one going from Cran. It's going to force Andy to make a strike. And Andy, not flipping away, not panicking, did not move out of the way and will stay in just enough to get another touch here. This one working from backboard. Andy rolling away is Nifty. I've realized now all these guys have a Y at the end of their name. And all of them are rolling back in unison. Sergeant Ao. He's going to try, move it to the backboard. President's going to slow it down. Cran, already airborne, is slowly going into the net, and Sergeant Ao will put the Mob ahead.
And that's one way to do it. Prestige is going up high, gets it right before Nifty, and then again, Cran coming in, gets it right before Andy. And so it's just a series of just barely beating those defenders to the ball, starting it up nice and hot for Ao.
They were able, and it looked like it was calculated every step of the way. Each person before the strike came knew that they didn't have an exact good touch to put it on net, but they could put it around the wall and slow it down and get it somewhere that their offense was going to be able to get it the next touch. And every
if I can't score the goal, I'm going to make sure you can't save it either.
Yes, and so the Mob mobbing at the net of the Avalanche, and another strike coming. But this one will have to be 50 back away to the far side wall. They're looking pretty, and they're looking much more confident as they get out of their own net. Ooh, that one could have been dangerous if anyone had been coming from the Avalanche. But Cran will get the clear. Prez J with an extra touch. It will go further downfield. Cran following up again. Henry alone, except who else but Andy from the backboard. Andy is going to have to work overtime if he's going to get this Avalanche to really feel it. You can tell that when Andy is not, at least not getting everything done, that this Avalanche stalls out. They are dependent upon him. I'm not saying he's carrying them, but I'm saying he's carrying them. And so he's definitely the motivator and initiator, and this Avalanche definitely has to get something going. Sergeant Ao to the high corner. Prez J just has to get higher than this ball. Didn't get a touch. Two didn't get a touch. Henry leaving to Andy. Andy from the ground. He will now dribble against Cran, and Cran can't do anything about it as Andy will tie it up at 2.
Andy kind of showing you that he's really going to be the only offensive force. It's really going to put it to the Mob, sending it high and left on that flick. Cran just sending it back. Can't hope for much more than that.
We're a little more than 2 minutes remaining in this fourth game of this best of 5. Mob, they have to find a way to win, and that is the complete opposite as Andy will put them back up by 1.
Andy, have yourself a day. His second hat trick of the series, completely breaking the axles of Cran and Sergeant Ao in short order.
They thought he was going to the corner. He was floating like a butterfly, stinging like when I pee, and definitely able to juke them completely out of their axles.
My keyboard now has Chipotle lime rice. kind of wedged in there. So
You're welcome. Prez J inserted AO trying to Kamehameha wave this ball into the inner post. Does not turn out. The Mob now trying to reestablish midfield contention. Prez J will be chasing after this after he gets some boost. Nifty trying to meet him. It will go to ceiling after a good challenge. Less than a minute and a half remaining, and the Avalanche are only one up. Not comfortably so. Oh, this one going to Henry from Nifty. Henry will fake the redirect. Andy with the putback, and there will be no slam-a-lam-a-ding-dong here. And Nifty will just take away ball control as Mob will now be looking for a counterattack. They have few possessions left, except it doesn't matter how few they are because they will tie it up again. I got to salute.
Excuse me, Prez J flipping it over all three Avalanche defenders on his way past to slam it tied. 1 minute, 3 seconds left to go. Can the Mob stay alive?
You're seeing that they were clustered up at that moment, and they definitely took advantage. Cran, ooh, if Nifty had any sort of venom on that strike, he could have caught Cran with his pre-jump, but instead, the Mob continue to stay alive. Prez J working to pass Nifty. It will be Henry bumping AO out of there. Henry, no, Nifty over Cran. Prez J with a long clear, and in Henry right in each other's face. They need to work their way back as Andy's going to start to do some magic here. He will slow it down, give it to Henry. Henry with the drop. AO is backwards, and Cran will continue to save. AO though, again, and oh no, the own goal that you don't want.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate in this specific situation. Cran in that nifty 50. Fortunately, it gets right over AO. I think he touches it just a little bit too late.
That is going
now
to
they've got
haunt
24
them.
seconds to stay alive.
Everything to this moment was as perfect as you could have wanted to be able to stick with the Avalanche, and then to be undone by yourselves. There's still a chance. They're trying to get some possession. Andy lacking boost. He will go for the touch. A good challenge here. Avalanche looking to survive into the final waning countdown. It will go corner. Andy, a sure touch here. Prez J is going to slow it down. It's heading to the ground. It's still airborne. Mob, Cran trying to put it middle. Nifty trying to get the long clear. It's going to be a big long pitch to work with. And Andy doesn't even have to score as Avalanche will beat the Mob 3-1 in dramatic fashion.
Yeah, I don't want to call it Caster's curse necessarily because the Mob did play very well. I thought that they had a great game going, but unfortunately they weren't able to stop the absolute onslaught that is Andy.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Andy came out there ready to play, ready to carry that team as far as he could, and it looked very uncomfortable for the Avalanche in very many instances. But, they ended up kind of rebounding, taking it upon themselves. The Mob, so many chances for that to have gone to a Game 5 and really taken that for themselves and really established themselves against this now still current undefeated team in the Avalanche. But just... You got to feel for Cran and AO. That ball went totally awry in the less than 30 seconds left. Oh, that stinks. That super stinks.
Yeah, it's especially heartbreaking in that particular instance, especially since they had the chance to knock off the undefeated Avalanche, one of the strongest teams in the league, possibly cementing themselves as a great contender for the finals, even though we're a long way away from those. So a little bit of a tune-up needed. They've got a lot of great things to kind of work with, but they're going to have to make sure that they're more consistent in their defensive choices on later games.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, you know what? One series down, as dramatic and good as it was, we're going to be heading into the next one here soon, as match number 2 will be between the Bandits and the Drakes. Please stick around. We'll be starting this one very soon. Can't wait to see it soon. I said the word soon a lot. See you soon.
Soon.
Soon.